أنت العليم الحكيم ربي يسر وأعن وتمم بالخير يا فتاح. There are three chapters remaining, which is the Sunnan of Tashahhud, the Sunnan of Salam, and then the Sunnan after Salah. Inshallah, we'll just cover the Sunnan of Tashahhud this morning. So the Musannif rahimahullah ta'ala, he says, وَيُسَنُّ فِي التَّشَهُّدِ الْأَخِيرِ التَّوَرُّكِ. Yesterday we discussed iftirash. Iftirash meaning when your right foot, we're sitting in the tashahhud position, your right foot is, as they call it, mansoob in this way, and your left foot is lying this way. Tawarruk is the same position, except that your left foot extends, comes out, and your left side of your body, the bottom side of your body is basically on the ground. Right? So that would be considered tawarruk. So he says, وَيُسَنُّ فِي التَّشَهُّدِ الْأَخِيرِ التَّوَرُّكُ. At-tawarruk, sitting in that position, is a sunnah when you're in the final tashahhud. If you are not in the final tashahhud, then iftirash, that we discussed yesterday, is sunnah. If you are in the final tashahhud, then tawarruk is sunnah. إِلَّا مَنْ كَانَ عَلَيْهِ سُجُودُ سَهْوٍ أَوْ مَسْبُوقٍ أو كان مسبوقا إلا من كان عليه سجود سهو أو كان مسبوقا, except for the person who has to perform sujood sahwi or he's a masbuq. Meaning, let's say I am in my final tashahhud, but something happened in salah that would cause or necessitate a sujood sahwi. Then I would not be sitting in the tawarruk position through the entire duration of the tashahhud. I'll be sitting normal. After I perform the sujood sahwi, then I move into the tawarruk position before I make taslim. Right? What are the causes for sujood sahwi? That's an entire chapter. That's an entire chapter on its own. We will discuss that inshallah. The causes for sujood sahwi. Because you can't make sujood sahwi for anything. Sometimes we fall into this mistake. You think, any shortfall in my salah, I'll just perform sujood sahwi. If I perform sujood sahwi for other than the causes of sujood sahwi, then I'm making ibtal of my salah. I'm invalidating my salah. Because I can't do anything in salah that's not prescribed. Right? So nonetheless, but that's a separate discussion. So it's a sunnah to sit in the tawarruk position, except for the person who has to perform sujood sahwi, or for the masbuq. The masbuq is the person who came late. So he's obviously not in his final tashahhud. He's only sitting in that position because he's following the imam. وَيَضَعُ يَدَهُ الْيُسْرَى عَلَى فَخِذِهِ الْيُسْرَى فِي الْجُلُوسِ لِلتَّشَهُّدِ وَغَيْرِهِ مَبْسُوطَةً وَمَوْضُوعًا. Okay, so, and then to sit, when you are sitting in the tawarruk position, to have your hands on your thighs, as we explained yesterday, not on the knees, but close to the knees. Madmumatan, your fingers are together, and manshuratan, mabsutatan, and facing the qibla. So you're not sitting like this, or your fingers are together, spread out, the tips of your fingers are facing the qibla, close to your knees, not on your knees. And then, except for the right hand, وَيَقْبِضُ فِي التَّشَهُّدِ أَصَابِعَهَا إِلَّا الْمُسَبِّحَةَ فَيُرْسِلَهَا. Except for the right hand. The right hand in tashahhud, there's one of three ways reported as sunnah from Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam for keeping the hand in the tashahhud. So the number one is, you have the musabbiha, the index finger, out, and you have your thumb right next to it like this. Right? The other way is that you have the thumb over the middle finger. And the other way is that you have the middle finger over the thumb. All three ways is reported from Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. That's why some of our scholars say, some salah you keep it like this, some salah you keep it like this, some salah you keep it like that, implementing all the Sunnan of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, right? But either one way you're going to be keeping your thumb. The rest of your fingers will be in a fist like this, except for the musabbiha. So that will be out the entire tashahhud. The entire tashahhud, your musabbiha, this index finger will be out. Your thumb, depending on which sunnah you are implementing, right? But the musabbiha will be out the entire time. إلا ويضع الإبهام تحتها ورفعها عند قوله إلا الله. Except when you come to the part of your tashahhud, إلا الله, then you lift your finger, right? So you recite the entire tashahhud, التحيات المباركات الصلوات الطيبات, and recite the salah on Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and then أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله, right? There's something connected to this that we discussed before. We said when we were discussing the qiyam, we said that at all times your gaze should be on the place of sujood. There were two exceptions to this. The one exception was the Kaaba, but we mentioned that was not the mu'tamad in the madhab. That's not the preponderant view in the madhab. The preponderant view in the madhab is even when you're in front of the Kaaba, do you look at the place of sujood. But the other exception was at the time of illallah in your tashahhud. So in other words, my gaze will be focused on the place of sujood the entire time. Except when I come to ashhadu an la ilaha illallah, and then will I face my gaze on my finger. Right? Will I face my gaze on my finger. And then he gives the entire tashahhud, akmalu tashahhud. There's a shorter version of the tashahhud and there's a longer version of the tashahhud. Why is it important to know the shorter version of tashahhud? Because whatever the shorter version of the tashahhud gives us, you can't reduce less than that. If I leave a word out less than what the shorter version is, then my tashahhud is technically incomplete. Right? So it's important to know the shorter version, but we all are already familiar with the longer version of the tashahhud, which reads التحيات المباركات الصلوات الطيبات لله السلام عليك أيها النبي ورحمة الله وبركاته السلام علينا وعلى عباد الله الصالحين أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وأشهد أن محمدا رسول الله وأكمل الصلاة اللهم صل على محمد عبدك ورسولك النبي الأمي وعلى آل محمد وأزواجه وذريته كما صليت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم وبارك على محمد النبي الأمي وعلى آل محمد وأزواجه وذريته كما باركت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم في العالمين إنك حميد مجيد. What's the shortest tashahhud? And the shortest salawat on Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam is التحيات لله سلام عليك أيها النبي ورحمة الله وبركاته سلام علينا وعلى عباد الله الصالحين أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وأن محمد رسول الله. In the shortest salawat, اللهم صل على محمد. Right? For the validity of the then الدعاء بعده بما شاء, then to make dua after your tashahhud بما شاء, with whatever dua you wish to make. However, أفضله, the most virtuous, would be اللهم إني أعوذ بك من عذاب جهنم ومن عذاب القبر ومن فتنة المحيا وممات ومن شر فتنة المسيح الدجال ومنه. Another dua you could make after your tashahhud before the taslim, اللهم إني أعوذ بك من المغرم والمأثم ومنه. You can also make اللهم اغفر لي ما قدمت وما أخرت وما أسررت وما أعلنت وما أسرفت وما أنت أعلم به مني أنت المقدم وأنت المؤخر لا إله إلا أنت. So these are du'as that they are recommending, but really any du'a that you wish to make after the tashahhud, you may do so. The only thing they caution you on is that your dua after the tashahhud shouldn't be longer than the tashahhud itself. Right? So we can make dua for anything we want. Rabbi ighfir li wa liwaliday, whatever. Whatever dua we wish to make after the tashahhud, as long as the dua after the tashahhud is not longer than, doesn't end up being longer than the tashahhud itself. Now, the last two chapters is the Sunnan on the taslim, and then the Sunnan فيما بعد, what happens after the Sunnan after Salah. But inshallah we'll cover that بإذن الله تبارك وتعالى in the next sitting. Now. No. 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 It actually slips my mind now with regards to the moving of the finger. That's according to other madhahib. I think the Malikiyya, they would be moving the finger, they would be making tahriq of the finger, and it all stems from the difference of understanding with regards to the hadith of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So they obviously understand the hadith. I mean, the matter is probably much more complex than what I'm going to be explaining now, but ultimately it comes down to them understanding the hadith of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam and the pointing of the finger, meaning tahriq, meaning moving. The Shafi'iyya would, I think Ibn Hajar might comment on it in his Fath al-Bari, his commentary on Bukhari, where he says that the tahriq literally just means they're moving from the position that it was in to moving up, not that it was moving the entire time. Nonetheless, as long as the madhahib mention it, then, I would, for our own tarbiyah though, this is now actually not even answering the question, it's kind of a side issue, but just for our benefit, for our own tarbiyah, I would advise we stick to one madhab as much as possible. Right? When there's dire need to make taqleed to another madhab, then we may do so. It's completely permissible to make taqleed for every different madhab all the time, right? As long as I'm not intending thereby what they call tatabbu' al-rukhas, I'm just looking for the most lenient view in all the madhahib, or there's no talfiq, right? Where basically I'm ending up in a scenario where none of the madhahib agree that I'm actually on anything. But making taqleed when you're following all the shurut of another madhab is completely permissible. For our own tarbiyah, for my nafs, ideally everyone should stick to one madhab, whether it's the Malikis, whether it's the Hanafis, whether it's the Hanbalis, whether it's the Shafi'is. Sometimes the action is going to be a little difficult in the madhab, but it's good for my nafs if it's a little difficult. So, but anyway, what I'm saying is that the Malikis, I believe, make tahriq. Shafi'is don't make tahriq, they're moving it from this position, illallah, they're moving it up, proclaiming. What actually slips my mind now is, do you drop it just before the taslim, or do you drop it after the taslim? No. So I'm going to have to check that, bi'ithnillah tabarak wa ta'ala, or perhaps it comes in the next section. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين وصلى الله على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين اللهم آت نفوسنا تقواها وزكها أنت خير من زكاها أنت وليها ومولاها يا أرحم الراحمين ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون وسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين.